This week, Atozy put out a video, not quite yesterday, about Johnny. That apparently more charges seem like that. Based on the title, I think we have more charges getting stacked against him. Because the title says he's facing 20 more years in prison. I wasn't planning to do more Johnny content, but the fact that we're adding on 20 fucking years, I am intrigued. I want to see this. Let's fucking go.
It's safe to say one of the most disliked live streamers in the world just realized he destroyed his life chasing internet attention in South Korea, as things have somehow gotten even worse for Johnny Somali out there. Because not only has he been slapped with more charges, but one of these new charges, they come with a mandatory prison sentence of at least 3 years if convicted. And considering South Korea has about a 99% conviction rate, it's not like you really need to be a legal expert to see where all of this is going. But what makes all of this even dumber is the fact that Johnny, just like everything else, live streamed him doing everything. Just like how he live streamed himself prank calling the police for $5, how he live streamed himself harassing construction workers, stalking other streamers, showing up late to his own trial after drunkenly insulting the judge and prosecutors while also live. Oh, in his new defense, he's apparently trying to pull the I'm bipolar card to avoid jail time. Good luck with that, especially because he's already...
And you guys might remember how I reacted when we heard that he's trying to pull the bipolar defense. Thank God it's not going to work. Because that should be a whole new charge for trying to say, he should get charged all new with a whole new charge for trying to say, I'm bipolar, that's my defense. He should get charged for, he should catch a charge for that bullshit right there. For basically trying to co-opt fucking a legit serious mental health issue. That should be a charge all on his own, in my opinion. And Goraf, thank you for the follow. He didn't know, Revan, he didn't try the Tism defense. He tried to do
Ember,
the
you are so wet it turns
defense.
into a river. You are so wet, Ember, I can water the flower from how wet you are.
Deep up, Damer. We've moved on.
pleaded guilty to 3 charges in the exact same case. So today we're diving into how Johnny somehow managed to stack 5 criminal charges in just a few months, all of which could send him to prison for years, all for the attention of like, what, 20 teenagers online. But on top of that, we're also talking about a new investigation which could lead to another decade in prison for him. So it's safe to say things are just not going his way over there. And speaking of doing stupid stuff live, he also leaked a conversation between his pretend lawyer and his real lawyer. Line.
What?
So it's safe to say things are becoming more and more telling of how screwed he really is. And this whole nonchalant act is in fact nothing more than just an act that's going to backfire on him massively. So let's get into this disaster. So as of right now, I saw him pleading guilty to 3 charges last time I traveled out to South Korea. This was for disruption of business revolving around the incident at 7-Eleven in Mapo that we actually went to in my video. Then there were the 2 Minor Crimes Act violations, which are essentially misdemeanors here in the US. One for twerking on people and blasting music on the subway, and one for shoving a rotten fish in people's faces and blasting music on a public bus. And since then, he's been hit with even more charges. His deepfake charge, which carries a minimum of 3 years in prison if convicted. Then there's another obstruction of business charge involving Latte World. And then on top of that, to make things even worse.
Oh, really? They just hit him for obstruction of business for that? Because I'm reasonably
obstruction of business charge involving Latte World. And then
I'm reasonably sure, was this not the one where, yeah, I think this was the one where, it's like it's like a children's, theme park or something, or they have rides in here, or attractions in here for children, and he got in line, and he was on stream, and he had his Bluetooth speaker, and it was basically broadcasting some very significantly inappropriate stuff. I don't remember exactly what it was. I don't think it was necessarily PDF stuff, but it was like very sexually inappropriate, like TTSs through the Bluetooth speaker in Hangul. Like the TTS was actually, was it PDF stuff? I thought it was just like like highly sexualized stuff, not actually PDF. But it was done in the presence of kids. He was saying that, did he, Berlin? I don't remember that. That's the one who the charge that he's gonna get. Okay. Wait, did he? He was saying he wanted to have relations with kids? Okay. Like what Johnny. Okay, here's the thing. He does go over it. Okay, he'll go over in the video. Yeah, like Johnny's done so much shit that he's getting charged for. It's getting to be incredibly difficult to keep track of everything he's getting charged for because literally his entire life is one giant criminal fucking offense. Yes, I think it was the North Korean national anthem, and I think it was also North Korean propaganda doing. I think it may have been both. He was on like a bus or a train, and his chat was playing either the North Korean anthem or North Korean propaganda or both. It could have actually been both.
Then on top of that, to make things even worse for the dude, there's a new investigation that can give him an additional 10.5 years in prison if they end up going through and charging him with this. And that investigation is for child harassment. And this revolves an incident of him spamming horrific slurs at kids in Korean while at Lotte World. Lotte World, if you didn't know, is a kids theme park that has similarities to Disneyland and a kids-oriented version of Six Flags. Because in this clip, he walks around that infamous Bluetooth speaker that's gotten him in so much trouble in Japan, and he lets people donate to use him as a proxy to harass kids in the worst way possible. And while he doesn't understand Korean and wouldn't be able to understand what the text-to-speech was saying, at the end of the day, it's still on him. He's allowed himself to be this vessel for these completely unacceptable interactions. The last thing you want as a parent is, you know, taking your kids to some theme park for them to be harassed through some dude's speaker as he's filming and live streaming your kid's reaction for the entire internet to see. That should not be accepted, and that's why it's so important for these streamers to be extremely careful with how they use the text-to-speech feature in public, as they are the ones responsible for whatever comes out of the speaker that's on their backpack. But in addition to his
and this is why I say that Johnny's audience is just as culpable as Johnny. People have tried to argue with me like, oh, you know, Johnny's not responsible for what people say. I've seen, I don't know if someone actually mentioned it on chat or if it was in my YouTube videos, but it has been said like, oh, well, Johnny isn't actually like sending these TTSs himself. People are sending the TTSs and Johnny is not responsible for it. It's like bull fucking shit. Johnny is allowing it to happen. Okay? He has made it, he has been perfectly happy with this. Yeah, it is like, you could say it's maybe 50-50. You could even say it's like 70-30 and Johnny's, you know, with Johnny being the higher number, but whatever. There was argument made that like, oh, his audience is only like 1% culpable. And I'm sorry, now it's definitely much high. It's so much higher than that. But Johnny's also very culpable. He could have, instead of walking around with that fucking Bluetooth speaker, so the TTS, which he knew people would be sending violent, racist, SA-related TTSs through. He knew they were going to do this. And he carried around this Bluetooth fucking speaker specifically because he knew or even wanted them to do it so he could create chaos. That is on Johnny. That is 100% on him. But again, his audience has culpability too. Like they do not get off scot-free. All of his audiences that are encouraging him to do all this shit, his audiences that are sending these filed TTSs through his stream and thus through the speaker, they are culpable as well. And anyone who says they are not, you are fucking delusional. If you don't think that the audience is close to being just as culpable as Johnny is. Because they are basically using him like a fucking Barbie doll. And they're basically, they're literally doing the dance monkey dance kind of thing. Where they're saying, do this because we want to see you do stupid shit and get in trouble. And he does it. because they'll give him $5. I mean, Johnny has literally become a $5 whore. He was doing all, like, in the latter stages of this, he was literally like the one where he was drunk off his ass and went out in the street wearing only a pair of shorts. He literally did that for a $5 donut. So Johnny Somali, in his twilight here, has literally turned into a $5 whore. He's just fucking himself instead of fucking someone else. That's what Johnny Somali is. He is Johnny the $5 whore.
Public defendant, which is essentially the lawyer he's been using up until now, Johnny has now gone out and got himself a real lawyer. Or, well, it seems like his friend Hank has done so for him. And this is what Legal Mindset and some other Korean legal analysts have said about his new lawyer.
He has 2 real lawyers, we're not counting Hank. First is a public defender in the Western District. That is a free attorney that is provided in the Western District where he has an active case. He also has a paid attorney in the Eastern District. Now, the Eastern District charges, as we're going to see, are largely being merged into the Western District. So this paid lawyer is unregistered in the West. So this paid lawyer is unaware of the exact proceedings and what's going on in the Western District. So he really has no idea about what's going on unless he contacts certain people or does extra effort. And it appears that he is kind of being lazy with his proceedings. Also, people that were in the know and some legal professionals and others that analyzed this, as well as people that looked at this lawyer, it appears he's kind of what you might call in the U.S. a strip mall lawyer. He's got a very heavy specific regional accent, which is very hard to understand. He also seems to be very inexperienced with criminal procedure because he
Good. Fucking good. Let Johnny get one of the shittiest lawyers South Korea can offer. Let this paid attorney use Johnny as a means to better educate themselves, to make them a better lawyer, and sacrifice Johnny on the altar of this knowledge. I am 100% approving of this tactic. That this lawyer knows nothing, and what's going to happen is this lawyer is going to use Johnny as a means to better understand the legal system in real time in the real world. He's going to take, and the lawyer is going to get paid to learn about this.
Yes! Yes!
I see no problem with this. I approve of this strategy. No, Silver, from the sound of it, this paid lawyer isn't as good as a South Korean public defender. It sounds like this paid lawyer has far less experience and knowledge than the public defender. As a public defender, you actually have to be quite knowledgeable. You're working as the public defender. You are working for the courts. You're not private. So you need to actually be knowledgeable. This private attorney?
Haha, you just have to laugh at this. You can't make this shit up. Haha, haha.
And we are.
he doesn't understand the concept of merging cases.
So he hasn't cooperated throughout his entire case, and he's only mocked the judge and prosecutors every step of the way. And his new Hail Mary is to hire a strip mall lawyer. Bro has a Korean Saul Goodman at his service. I mean, the train wreck just somehow keeps on wrecking. But again, somehow it all gets worse, because we also found out that the prosecutor trying to bring Johnny to justice is a top 10 prosecutor in all of Korea. And his new attorney over there also stated that the law enforcement over there is very hard to work with for him due to Johnny's behavior throughout the whole trial. Then to make things even worse, Johnny's lawyer met with the prosecutor to beg them to drop the deepfake charges, but it was too late.
Ramsey's lawyer tried to meet with her, tried to meet this prosecutor to beg her to drop with the deepfake case, to beg her to drop it. And as we're going to...
Really? His lawyer begged the prosecuting attorney to drop the deepfake case, which has a female victim, when the prosecuting attorney is a woman. And they really thought that the female prosecuting attorney was going to drop a sexual deepfake charge where the victim is a woman. You guys brought up Saul Goodman, and Atozy brought up Saul Goodman. This is a better episode than Better Call Saul than Better Call Saul ever had. This is fucking beautiful.
Going to see with the deepfake case, the hilarious thing is by the time he met with her, it was already too late. The charge had already
Sucks
been
to
indicted.
suck.
They'd already moved on. They've already processed this. So it was too late to even do that
Colonel, wait for it.
meeting, but they were trying to beg her to drop it because they thought she could drop it, but she'd already indicted and it had already been moved over to the Western District.
That charge alone could be 10 years in prison for Johnny. So for the sake of his own freedom, it's
No,
really
he
about
wasn't.
time he starts apologizing for real and changes his ways. But unfortunately for Johnny, I feel like that is just way too late for him now, as Legal Mindset explains the timeline of the deepfake charges here.
On February 18th, referred
Here we go.
the deepfake case to the prosecutor, which means at that point, it's looking pretty solid. And we had that based on the information that Ramsey flashed across the screen. He flashed across a paper which revealed that this was already sent to the prosecutor. And I called it out at the time and I said, he's screwed on this because this is going to go on to court. If something is sent to the prosecutor, it is highly likely you're going to get an indictment. Well, on March 7th, he leaked that, right? And then on the 25th, the Eastern prosecutor indicted Ramsey. On the 27th, that indictment moved from the East to the West. The West is where his current case is. They are trying to consolidate everything in that Western district because it's already going, it's already pending, and they want to bring everything over to there so they handle it all in one trial rather than breaking it up into multiple trials. So on that day, I knew immediately, and I informed everybody on the 27th. Because of that, Ramsey and Hank were panicking, and they were talking about that with their lawyer. And that lawyer had no idea. I actually predicted that on my stream. I said, his lawyer might not even know because the lawyer is not registered in the West. He's only registered in the East. So he actually wasn't accessing the right court records that were in the Western District. So at that meeting, he actually said, oh, you're not indicted for this. Oh, you're not indicted yet. He was.
So again, he's played his cards in the worst way possible, then put his freedom in the hands of a lawyer who isn't even registered in the correct district for him to properly help him. Without a doubt, Johnny or Ramsey.
Yeah. Which means he spent money on a lawyer? He can't. That's what I was about to say, Akanashi. He spent money on a lawyer that can't do anything. He literally, actually, Hank spent money because Johnny doesn't have any fucking money. So he got Hank to spend God knows how much money on a lawyer that can't even do anything. Because she cannot. Wait, you were wondering, Atanashi? No, he can't. He's only registered in the Eastern District. This lawyer would need to register in the Western District, and God only knows what that would take. So his lawyer can't even do anything. They literally burned money on a lawyer just for this lawyer to go, cool, I can't help you. All of your cases are out of this district. I'm not registered in that district, so there's not a fucking thing I can do for you. Thanks for the money, though.
You are made of stupid.
He deserves a permanent spot in the Hall of Fame of Influencer Morons for his entire trip to Korea. The dude has essentially turned himself into an international laughingstock for nothing. Then he's also trusting this new lawyer for advice, and clearly he's given him a false sense of security.
The lawyer said it's unlikely since you're American, which actually revealed the inexperience and ignorance of this lawyer. Clear example, there was an American that went to jail, that was sentenced to 1 year in jail, prison time, for a single crime, and this was actually predating deepfakes. This was just one cybercrime and an obstruction of business. So remember, Ramsey has at least 2 obstruction of business charges already on the docket, 2 Minor Crimes Act, and a deep fake. So Ramsey has over double the amount of charges, and that.
But wait, there's more charges. The fact that this lawyer, after he's already been convicted of these charges, with all of these charges pending, which is going to basically qualify him as a recidivist offender and make the cases go even harder in court, said that no, you're not going to go to jail because it's unlikely because you're an American. 10-1, this lawyer he hired did not even know who the fuck he was. No, Victor, he has been convicted. He has been convicted of 2 charges. He pled guilty. He has been convicted. They're only waiting to do sentencing on those 2 initial charges. There's a whole shitload of other charges, though, that are waiting in the wings that they're going to be bringing to the courts. So on all of those additional ones, no, nothing has happened yet. But he is convicted of 2 charges already, and the next step is sentencing. With God only knows how many total charges in the end that are going to come down on top of his head as a recidivist type action. And his lawyer's saying, oh, it's unlikely you're going to go to jail. You're American. Yes, you're right, Andrew. He did, did he plead guilty to 3 charges? I thought it was 2 charges he pled guilty to. I thought it was 2 charges that he pled guilty. No, yeah, it was 2 charges that he pled guilty to. The 4 charges you're talking about, I think, is another case that they are bringing in. I thought that's what it was. God, I don't fucking know. Like, that's how fucking crazy this is right now. With him. It is so fucking crazy. We cannot keep track of all the charges that had been brought against him, what he's pled guilty to. Like, this is fucking insane, and it's glorious at the same fucking time.
They are going to cast Johnny Salami down to the sodomites, like they said in Shawshank Redemption.
I have a feeling more that they're just going to beat the shit out of him. He did plead guilty to 3? Okay, so it's 3. I don't know why I was thinking he pled guilty to 2 charges. So it's the 3 charges, and that there was the 4th one, that there was something going on with that. But he's got all these other... Regardless. He fucked. And... like someone said in chat earlier, if he doesn't spend a good deal of time in prison, this is going to be the worst legal edging I've ever experienced.
That person, that defendant, was completely cooperative with the judge in the court.
Yeah, and Johnny's been anything but that.
Wait, what?
Completely double the amount of charges. And that person, that defendant, was completely cooperative with the judge in the court.
Yeah, Johnny's been anything but that. And unfortunately for Johnny, he outed Hanks and his own lawyer's incompetence himself. As again, he keeps on streaming from his lawyer's office, and by doing so, he keeps leaking information about his trial without even realizing it as it's being said in Korean. While Johnny doesn't understand Korean, many others do, including translators that help creators cover the story.
So this is the lawyer speaking. What's happening here, guys, is that Hank is trying to be the lawyer, and the lawyer is having to reprimand and say, hey, Hank, like, let me talk first. Stop trying to explain.
Oh,
right?
God.
Stop trying to explain. And once again, this is an issue where Johnny didn't understand the Korean, so he just streamed it. But it just shows how incompetent Hank is, and how even a lawyer who he's paying money to is saying, dude, shut up. Like, let me talk.
Why is he live streaming this in general?
my
and Hank is the
God.
one who's been telling Johnny that everything was going to be fine. And then, of course, they messed up and didn't mute again.
So Hank is the pitcher and Johnny is the catcher. Which we kind of figured. We already kind of figured Hank was the pitcher, Johnny was the catcher. This kind of cements it. Not all that much of a surprise, honestly.
This is the superintendent of the Women's and Juvenile Division at Songpa Police Station. Pay attention to that title, superintendent. Okay?
That's the big
next
boss.
section, we're going to talk about police and the prosecution. This is wild. Also, the section on women and juvenile crimes.
In other words, the chief of that division referred the case. This sounds like this is the chief of this women and juvenile division at the police department. May have taken a particular interest in this case. Oops.
The crimes that he's charged with are against women and children. They're saying we're referring the case number. That means he was indicted.
Yep.
예, 감사합니다. 그래서 오늘 조금 전에 수사 검사한테 검사하고 말했어.
Wait, that's you. That's me. Wait. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, that's an uh-oh face from Hank right there. And part of me kind of wants to feel for him as he's been guilted into, like, trying his best to do.
No. Do not feel guilty for Hank. Hank is a part of this, okay? He's been right there with Johnny through a bunch of this shit. He was with Johnny in that, looking like he's some kind of badass bodyguard, wearing a fucking North Korean army patch on his sleeve when they were talking to Ice Poseidon. He was standing there in like a black military-esque uniform with a baklava covering his face and wearing a fucking North Korean patch on his shoulder. Fuck Hank. Do not feel bad for Hank. He is in this just as deep as Johnny is. He just hasn't been caught and prosecuted for it. I didn't say I said baklava, not balaclava. Yeah, I mispronounced. Yeah, like, don't feel bad for Hank. Because if Hank actually was legitimately trying, if Hank was like legitimately getting dragged into, yes, he is Korean, Cortanis. Hank is Korean. But he is just as bad as Johnny. If Hank actually got dragged into this, like Atozy said, like Atozy is like saying where he feels bad for Hank, Hank would not have done any of this shit. He would not have been on camera with Johnny. He would have been telling Johnny, shut the fuck up. Stop doing this shit, not encouraging him. Well, Jack, who knows? Maybe that's coming. Because I guarantee you, I will absolutely guarantee you, the Korean courts are looking at what's happening in the Philippines. We haven't watched any videos on the Russian chaos streamer that was fucking around in the Philippines. And I don't know if he was actually sentenced or could be sentenced. Yeah, Vitaly. I don't know if he could be sentenced or was sentenced to something like 26 years in prison for the bullshit he did in the Philippines. I guarantee you, the South Korean courts are looking at this and going, well, we already know. It's been said. Okay, so he could be facing up to 26 years in prison. So he wasn't convicted. Okay, I haven't been following. I've seen like headlines and that was it. Guarantee you, the courts are making it like, and we've said this. We've heard this from Atozy and from Legal Mindset. They're looking to make an example out of Johnny. When it comes to these chaos streamers and these live streamers, they're looking to make an example out of him. They are not going to hold back. It's fucking go time for them. Whoops. The hell did I do?
Defend his friend who's so stupid he would rather live stream his legal counseling than have a better chance at having his
Also
freedom
true,
back.
Rhyme, yes.
It's like he doesn't care his own freedom's on the line. It's just so stupid, it's baffling at this point. But moving on, another clip came out of him threatening to SA the female police officers that were at the station after getting arrested for his underwear stunt.
I've been to this police station 20 times. It's the first time they can put me in cuffs. I've been to this police station 20 different times.
But like, they put you. Where do they think you're gonna go? You're like, why are you in cuffs? It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. I don't care. The detectives, they're lucky I don't. These
Dude is really going for the maximum.
What did he say? I mean, okay, Atozy, obviously, Atozy muted what he said. I wish I could tell what he said there.
The detectives, they're lucky I don't. These
Dude is.
All I can make out is he said that these detectives are lucky I don't do something. Like, is that what he said, Andrea? He threatened to, charge. I mean, that's a fucking charge right there. Why hold back at this point? Like, oh my fucking god. What the actual fuck is going... Oh god. He like, yeah. Prison is the only solution for him. There is no solution. If he does not go to prison, here's okay, let me let this play out and I will say what I'm going to say about that at the conclusion.
Is really going for the maximum sentence here. He just can't shut up and act right because he has to continuously make everything worse for himself over and over again. And there is nothing that's going to stop him from doing so, no matter how much jail time he's facing. Like, he's just making it so clear to the South Korean judge and prosecutors that if they want to stop this behavior, they're going to have to force him to do so. Like, he knows all of this is going to be viewed by them, but still, for some reason, claims that he has no regrets whatsoever.
So my question is basically to Johnny. What I would like to know is if he has any regrets for what he has been doing over the past few years, especially what's been going on in South Korea.
Zero regrets. Zero remorse.
There is no way. Again, he's just sending these
Oh my
messages
God.
to the
Well,
prosecutor.
okay. That didn't sound like Johnny. Okay? That didn't sound like Johnny. That sounded like Hank.
Zero remorse.
There is no way.
Hang on. What he has been doing over the past few years, especially what's been going on in South Korea.
Zero regrets. Zero remorse.
Okay, so that sounded like Hank. So I'm gonna do a fairness here. This is Hank speaking for Johnny. May or may, that's like, well, zip ties, here's the thing. Johnny did not say it himself, so I don't think that it could be used in court. Because Johnny could actually, if there's more, if it's only Hank saying, oh, Johnny has no regrets, if they try to use that in court, without Johnny actually saying it, the argument could be made that that was not Johnny speaking, that was someone speaking on Johnny's behalf that Johnny did not authorize to do so. I would postulate that I don't see, that's the thing. I don't know if it was
in South Korea.
Zero regrets. Zero remorse.
There is no way.
I don't know if that was Johnny or not. It didn't quite sound like him. That's why I was wondering if it was Hank. If it was Johnny, if that really was Johnny speaking, then yeah, it could certainly be used in court. I'm not sure though myself.
way. Again, he's just sending these messages to the prosecutor and judge over and over again, it seems. How stupid is it possible to be?
You haven't watched your own videos and all the other things that you've done over the couple of years. You haven't seen anything. You haven't watched anything.
No, whenever I see clips of it, I laugh my ass off. It's funny.
Then on top of that, he
Okay,
also
that
wanted to
is him.
show up to his next court date
That is
wearing
him.
the new Kanye gown.
What do you think about the cake outfit at the court? Is that too crazy? The Kanye one, the same one Kanye had.
Bro, I know it's a wonderful idea, but you won't even have a platform. You'll just get automatic banned.
No, so now I'm gonna get my Instagram deleted again. You're saying
it's a wonderful idea. I'm not gonna lie. But you can't.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
Oh
and have
my
a platform.
God.
I really want to do the KK shit, but
I know
I can't.
it's a good idea, but
And,
why?
and the person he's talking to is encouraging him to wear blatantly racist shit.
Isn't there anybody else doing the stunt? Because
Yeah, you're right. There's no one else. No one else in the world is doing that. You're right. I haven't seen anybody but Kanye do that. So what could I do at the court? I'm gonna have reporters talking to me at the court, like in 2 days. Like the Korean news is coming. The last time I flipped them off and I said I love North Korea.
Oh my god!
I swear to God, I did.
It seems
Good
like his
God.
own personal Super Bowl seems to be being the biggest idiot possible and going for the most amount of time in Korean prison. But what he doesn't realize is, once he's in prison for a year, people will forget about him. And then, if he's in prison for like 5 years, almost everyone would have forgotten about him then. And speaking of prison time, the newest investigation might be the worst one for him yet, as he's now facing an additional 10 years in prison if they go forward with this charge. And again,
I hope they
because
do.
he live streamed himself doing it, it's not like they have to gather evidence. It's really just if the prosecutor wants to hit him with it or not. But as of right now, Johnny hasn't responded to this new investigation, and his new trial is delayed yet again. So I'm sure Hank is worrying because that means that Hank will have to foot the bill for Johnny for even longer until he's inevitably arrested. But that's the most recent update for the Johnny Smalley case. I know a lot of you guys have been asking me for one, but we have so many more crazy stories coming out this week. Also, shout out Legal Mindset for his great coverage of all this. I'll be linking his channel in the description down below. So make sure to subscribe if you're new here, and also, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Okay, so here's my feeling. We are at the stage where, honestly, the South Korean court system has to imprison Johnny. That is my feeling. If the South Korean court system does not imprison Johnny, particularly after he's been found guilty, can you imagine how much worse Johnny will get if after all of this, after pleading guilty to three charges, with all of these other charges that are starting to get stacked, and he doesn't get prison time? Can you imagine what he will do next? He will literally think he is invincible. He will literally think he's invulnerable and will step it the fuck up, and he will come back to his streaming platform victorious, which will bring in more people that will encourage him to do even crazier shit. At this point, he has to be prisoned. He has to go to prison, because otherwise the entire world that has been following this, and a lot of people have been following this, will say that laws don't matter. That if Johnny Somali can do all this shit, have all of these charges stacked against him, be found guilty, and not spend any time in prison, it will basically come down to, well, laws don't, he will literally say the law doesn't apply to me. Like, we meme and joke about with, me saying laws don't apply to me as, as an anime cat girl. If that actually happens with Johnny's case, it will actually be true. That he will basically think, I can do whatever the fuck I want. No one's ever going to stop me. No one, I can do anything. No one's going to fucking care. And that is honestly fucking terrifying, because if Johnny gets away with it, how many more people are going to try to start following in his footsteps? That if he can get away with this, why can't I? It's kind of crucial that South Korea actually puts him in jail, in prison, at the conclusion of this, especially considering he's pled guilty. They kind of have to, and I do think they're going to. They absolutely want to make an example of him. He might not get the maximum possible out of all the charges he's received. I don't think he'll get the maximum, but I do think he's going to get time. I do think he will have time in prison. I would wager at the end of the day, with all these charges, I think the grand total may be 5 years. That's my suspicion. I think, like, he should be in prison for a couple of decades based on the charges it's brought. I feel like they're going to do it for 5 years. That is just my gut feeling. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong in that he gets many, many more. But my gut is telling me that he might get that they might just do 5 years. That's what my gut's telling me. We'll find out. We shall see. Well, Redvin, you say it's a slap on the wrist, but you're coming at it from the angle of American prisons, not South Korean prisons. There is a difference in that respect between American and South Korean prisons. There is a difference. So, we'll see.